It's two simple exercises to make your golf swing feel completely different. So we're talking about shoulders now.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, I know a lot of people that I teach want to get this out of their golf swing.
Yeah.
We're talking this on the way back.
Yep.
And then on the way through, this sort of buckling motion, these hands coming in close. Visually, it doesn't look nice on a golf swing.
Correct.
But I think a lot of people don't understand this, and we've said this before in the videos. The understanding between, actually, they understand the concept, but their body doesn't allow them to do it.
Yeah, this is the thing, isn't it? So again, these positions rely on a lot of mobility around the shoulder joints. So particularly in the backswing, we want to try and create this fold of this 90 position almost. And then the same thing on the downswing, where we're avoiding this sort of cricket bat position of the shoulder just can't rotate naturally. Yeah. So what we're going to do is have a look at this first exercise to try and build a little bit of strength over the joint and incorporate that position a little bit more. So we want the good old red band again.
Back.
The band is back. So good old red band. This time what we're going to do is we're going to stand on it. So if I'm going to start on my right hand side, being a right-handed golfer, I'm going to stand on the band with my left foot. And what I'm going to do is take the band across like this. So to try and slacken it off a little bit, you just stand a bit closer so there's a little bit less tension on it. So all I'm going to do is bring my arm into 90 here, and I'm going to try and pull the tension of the band back like this, maintaining the 90 position.
Like your right foot a little bit back there.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just for a bit of stability. So if I stand here, that's the same thing. I'm just trying to avoid hitting my own leg, really. So if I bring my leg back to this position, I can bring my elbow up, so elbow roughly level with shoulder, and rotate this back here. And what I can feel is that the back of the joint is having to do a little bit of work to get this band in position. So I'm trying to avoid dragging the band back or having to rotate open through the shoulders to actually get the band moving.
I think if everybody came and saw this round the side here, so I'll do that again.
Do you want me to come down the line?
Yeah, I think.
So from this position here, all I'm trying to do is get back into this angle.
It's like this is staying still, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because what we're seeing is people doing this. Well, if I'm pulling the band like this, not a lot's happening. I'm feeling it more on the side of the shoulder than I am on the back of the joint. So I'm trying to get this 90 angle here, holding the wrist nice and steady without manipulating this too much.
Would you say you found that hard? Might sound crazy, I know most people in lockdown watch these videos, but just doing it with a tin of beans or a tin of something just to build that strength up, because I know when I've done stuff like this, when we've done it before, we've done something similar down before, we used maybe like 1 or 2 kilograms.
Yep.
And after about 10 reps, you start to feel it because you're isolating the muscle.
Exactly, like the band is definitely a slightly harder version, so the good old red band, you can get one that's a little bit thinner, which is sort of 1/2 centimetre, which typically is like a turquoise colour. Yep. You could try it with a slightly slacker band like that, or the option is to use a water bottle, a tin of beans, something really light in the house that's about 1 kilo, just to replicate this movement, so you're getting it into this position here. And you can even come down here from the side with the can in your hand and start making this motion at the same time. So we're getting some strength over the back of the joint, which is responsible for holding this position here.
So we're saying responsible for getting more
stronger positions, exactly. And one of the key things we said earlier, Alex, was the role of posture within the position of the elbow as well, because I think it's important for a lot of players to realise that if posture is off slightly, particularly at setup, it makes it a lot harder to get these folds. You know, if I'm sort of maybe this way a bit in my natural setup, as I start to rotate, well, my elbow kind of has to follow the line of my torso a little bit, so it makes it a lot more difficult. I don't have much choice but other than to sort of wing it out. So I think posture is the key thing. If people are checking, right, okay, am I neutral from the start, then I've got half a chance.
It's interesting because with the driver, sometimes you see a lot of people say, right, okay, let's get a little bit more this way.
Yeah.
Is it not just not taking that to the extreme where
we're trying to not deviate too much. I think with driver, because you're further away from the ball, and obviously the width and the arc is a little bit wider, we do have more space for the elbow, but particularly with an iron, a shorter iron, the elbow and the arm is much closer and more compact to the body, that puts a lot more stress on those joints.
Looking for something more like this.
That's it.
With this, as opposed to...
Yeah, correct.
Sort of this motion.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now, so taking this to the progression for number 2, so we've got a kettlebell down here. Seems like we're going to be lifting something. Yeah,
so what we're going to do is, again, I'm going to go with the easy version first with the band, but then again, if you've got weights at home, kettlebells or dumbbells, you can do the slightly harder version. So for this, we're going to do a bent over row. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the band to stand on, create a bit of tension, because for this exercise, we're going to try and strengthen the upper back as well, which support the shoulder joint, so the scapula and the surrounding area, which help this angle stay in place nicely. So with this one, you can take the red band. And what we're going to do, Alex, Alex, is stand on the band like this, and that'll create you 2 handles. And then what we're going to do is, if you adopt a slightly more bent over position than golf posture, I'm going to take both handles, I'm going to row them into my body like this. So my elbows are in nice and tight, and then I come back down. So I'm pulling the tension of the band into my body, squeezing my shoulder blades back behind me, and then back down like this. So just nice smooth motion, one at a time.
Would you hold it at the top for a second or so?
Yeah, you want to pause. So we're coming into here like this. I'm going to pause for a second or two where I can feel that there's some tension, and then I'm slowly relaxing that back off.
And where are you feeling this? Is it sort of around this area?
So sort of top to middle back area, so into the shoulder blades here, maybe slightly above. And what we're trying to do as well is avoid this winging position. So I'm not rowing with my arms out to the side.
To feel as though it always...
Nice and neat and tidy, pulling in, that's it. So we're replicating that position again, yeah. Exactly right.
Like we spoke to about the week before, about the lateral movement, and then with a bit more of a weight up and down, these things and these exercises are great to almost do as like a little bit of a set. If you've got 15 minutes, spend that 15 minutes doing them.
Yeah, exactly. What you tend to find is the more exercises you're doing, the more complement each other. Your body can only make certain movements, so we can't recreate too many things, but we get better at one thing, which translates into the next.
Okay, so if we're progressing it on,
yep.
What we do with this?
So if you've got weights at home, if you've got a kettlebell, if you've got a dumbbell, then this will be a slightly harder version, a little bit more weight involved. So what we can do is, if you've got one weight, then you can do 1 row at a time. If you've got 2 weights, you can row both at the same time. So we'll just start with the one from here. So if I've got my weight, I'm going to adopt the same position like this. This just hangs in front of me, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to row that weight in like this and then back down. So I'm creating that same motion through the top of the shoulders here in the back like that, and then back down. I think a key thing to remember with this is to avoid rotation. So what I'm not doing is this, twisting away.
To that, wouldn't it?
It's tempting. And that's an entirely different exercise, and we manipulate that slightly. Yeah. But for this one, what we're trying to do is get that straight line back and squeeze, keep them elbows in tight in the same way that we're trying to do in the downswing.
Fab. And how many reps each side are we going with this one?
I think for this one a 12 to 15, and again roughly 12 to 15 with the band. If you've got heavier weights, bring the reps down, 8 to 10, 6 to 8, something like that. Have a play with it.
So would you do it this way? Would you start with this, do a set each side on this, then go into this?
Yeah.
You wouldn't just do a set on that and a set on that. You'd do it as a complementation, like a superset.
Exactly. I think you can actually use the band to start with. It's almost a warm-up position. Then you can come into the band row, and then you can go onto the weight.
Fab. So there you go, 2 exercises that are going to get these shoulders working. So your golf swing looks a lot more like this and like this, as opposed to them flaring either side. Don't forget, if you enjoy all this content, hit that big red subscribe button. Head over to Nat at ProFit Golf. All her information is down below. Courses on there, clinics, absolutely everything. And also we have live Zoom classes as well, don't we?
Live Zoom classes every Saturday, 10 o'clock.
Also leave that information down below. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.